Hello, everyone. This is episode 7 at Talk to Aitan, and today we've got Jose Rios. How you doing?
Hey, good. How you doing?
I'm doing well, and yeah, thank you for joining the show. So yeah, I'm really excited getting to hear your story. So let's get straight into it. Yeah, so tell us about yourself, where you're from, and we'll go from there. So go
Yeah,
ahead.
I'm born from Brooklyn, New York,
Brooklyn.
and raised, and my parents from Puerto Rico. I currently live in Aiken, South Carolina, and I'm a chef at a private golf club in Graniteville, South Carolina. Yes,
Okay. So how did you get into the chef world, into the cooking world?
I started as a dishwasher in the Hamptons, New York, back in 1994, and the chef saw something in me, and he put me on the line to work. I'd never cooked a steak or anything in my life other than Chef Boyardee out of the can. And I was scared at first. I didn't want to do it, but he kind of forced me in a positive way. And here I am. Been doing it for 24, 20, almost 25 years.
And what were you doing before that? Before the chef world?
Before that, I
Yeah.
did sand casting. I dropped out of high school
Okay.
and I had a girlfriend, got her pregnant early in my teens, and I went to New York to work as a sandcaster, melting bronze, and we made sculptures for rich people in Long Island City, Queens, New York, uh, melting bronze and doing sandcasting, patina. It was hard work, and but I liked it at the time. Yes, I worked there for a couple of years, and like actors Anthony Quinn. He's not alive anymore, but he used to take sculptures there, so we could turn his sculptures into bronze. And yeah, it was a wonderful experience. I was really young. I was 18, 19 years old
So
back then.
what was it like? You said you brought up in Brooklyn. Is that what you said?
I was
Was
born
it?
in Brooklyn, New York. Yes, and
Okay.
then my parents bought a house in Puerto Rico back in
Um,
the late '70s,
okay.
and
Yeah.
and I lived it back and forth, New York, Puerto Rico.
Okay. And so you finished your what is it melting? You said hot melting. What was it? Because I've never actually heard of that before. What's the title?
Sand casting.
Sandcasting. I don't know why I got that. Okay.
Yes,
And then so how did you fall into the chef world? Like what was happening in your life? Like what happened through that
my
whole.
my my dad was sick in Puerto Rico, so he was about to die. So I went back to Puerto Rico, and
Okay, okay.
I stood with him for a little bit. So I decided to stay in Puerto Rico and stay with my mom and help her out a little bit. So it was tough finding a job over there, especially with no college degree, high school diploma, and my wife at the time, her cousin was a chef in the Hamptons. He was a garde manger chef, which he was in charge of all the salads, dressings, did all the decorations. So they were looking for a dishwasher. So I hesitated at first, didn't want to do that. And then I decided, you know what? I'm going to give it a try. So I went over there starting at 6.50 an hour as a dishwasher. And he kind of put me under his wing and he showed me the way because I never worked in a kitchen before or barely did any dishes when I lived with my mom and wife. So it was a challenge at first, and I was excited about it. Everybody was really positive. It was a non-negative environment, and the chef at the time was a woman. She was pregnant and a bit grumpy, but I was asked to come back for the following season because this was a seasonal job in the summer in Amagansett, New York, in the Hamptons. So I came back, and there was a new chef. So I did the same thing, and a lot of my motivation and energy towards what I was doing was also based on sandcasting because we had to work fast. It was hard
Yeah, yeah.
work. And I worked with a lot of Dominicans and Indians from Guyana, and they were
Ah,
really smart and hardworking people. So, they kind of showed me the way as far as how to push because I was a bit lazy. I really never worked before, so and um, and then the chef in New York saw something in me, and he said, "I want you to cook next year." And I said, "Nah, I don't want to do it. I'm okay as a dishwasher." And later that year, one of the chefs quit, walked out Labor Day weekend, and the chef said, "You're it. You're working on the line." So first thing he had me cook was filet mignon and lobster. And the other cook, the other sous chef was like had more on his plate, but every time I cooked the steak, I was like, "Is it ready?" And he's like, "Here, touch your hand." So rare, medium, well done. So the softer it is, the rare it was. So it was hard. I know he was under a lot of stress because I didn't know anything about the kitchen. And a member that night came in and said it was the best steak he ever had. He was actually the Commodore of the club. So the chef said, "Jose did it." So that's how my journey started. And then every year, the chef he found a Relais Chateau property in Puerto Rico, and it was a 4-star Relais Chateau at the time called the Horn Dorset Primavera, right in the west coast of Puerto Rico, Rincon, where it's the capital of the sport of surfing. So
Oh yeah.
it was like half an hour from where my mom's house is. So I never knew. It was very private and exclusive. So I started working there, and the chef there, he was American, and he went to Cordon Bleu in Paris, worked in Daniel's New York for a couple of years. He worked for a couple of Michelin star chefs in France, and he was a chef there at this hotel and in Puerto Rico, and he hired every season. Their season's in the wintertime, so every season he hired European chefs from England, Germany, and who'd never been to Puerto Rico before. So I had the privilege and honor to work with these guys, and I'm so grateful because of them, I am who I am today. They mentor me in different ways, and like I said, it was very positive, non-negative environment at the time. Growing up and working with these chefs was I'm very grateful.
What is your speciality? I mean, I'm sure you're an all-rounder, but what would you say you focus on?
French cuisine, French cuisine, Italian, Puerto Rican's like my third or fourth because working in the kitchen, there wasn't not a lot of Puerto Rican cuisine going on. It was mostly French, European.
What is the Puerto Rican cuisine? I'm not even sure.
A lot of rice and beans. Rice and beans, fried pork chops.
Okay.
Everything with plantains and a lot of fried food. Roasted pork for Christmas for sure.
Okay.
Pigeon peas, but yes, I've learned how to cook Puerto Rican food too through my journeys.
And so, getting away from the chef world, what do you do? Would you like to do in your free time?
What I like to do in my free time?
Yeah.
I'm into self-help, self-development. I like reading a lot of personal development books for my own growth, and I like psychology. I work out a lot. Definitely work out a lot. I have a morning routine when I get up first thing in the morning, fix my bed, and then I'll exercise for 20 minutes, either going for a walk, running, or in a treadmill bicycle that I have here at the house. And then after that, I'll meditate for 10 minutes and read for 10 minutes. And I set myself up for success for the whole day. If I feel myself waking up late at times, I always make time. Instead of the whole hour, I'll do all right, 5 minutes I'll read, I'll meditate for 8. But I always do that. I can't leave the house without meditating, without, exercising.
How did you get into self-development? What was the past experiences? What happened with that? What was the reasoning for you to get? Is this something you just like doing?
No, actually, I was addicted to alcohol and drugs for many years. I smoked my first joint when my first marijuana cigarette at the age of 12, and it wasn't like every day, but the older I got, the more drugs and alcohol I used. Sometimes I stopped for a year or 6 months, but then when I started again throughout parties or gatherings after work, it was more and more the older I got. I always try to stay healthy. Like I did some karate kempo, I did some mixed martial arts in Florida with Gracie team and American Top Team, and it was a wonderful experience. But however, the whole drugs happened. I had a back injury. I was diagnosed with a herniated disc, so I started doing pain pills. Got really addicted to those, and the more I took them, I would just like run out of my prescription like in 11 days. So I was on this cycle for 4 years. So then I was another 4 years after that. I was on Suboxone. It was something wasn't addicting, but to keep me off the medication that I was on before. But it was also addicting because you can't just stop this other medicine. It has like it's a combination like of morphine and something else to kind of block the receptors for you getting high. Yeah. But so I couldn't stop that. And then I was on cocaine, and one thing led to methamphetamine. So one in 2016, I decided to go to rehab, and I finished the program 45 days because I couldn't stay 90 days because at the time all my bills were piling up. So I was there 45 days, but it was the best decision I ever had. There was a psychiatrist there that showed me a lot of the self-development and what to do after rehab. Okay. So one thing led to another. And this was in California treatment. So after I left California, right at the airport, I went to a bookstore and bought 3 books, one for meditating, one for love and psychology, and the other one was like a narcotic anonymous book. So from one thing led to another, and then one day I came across Tony Robbins, and I saw his Tony Robbins on Netflix called I'm Not Your Guru on Netflix. And I saw that, and then after that I had Spotify. So I went on Spotify and found The Edge from Tony Robbins. It's like
how long ago was this? Books. When was this? How long ago was this?
2016, 2017.
Okay, not long
ago. So one thing led to another, and that's how I every day, instead of driving to work and listening to music, I listen to an audiobook.
That's interesting.
It could be from it's changed my life dramatically through Dr. Wayne Dyer, Tony Robbins, Jim Quick. It goes on.
And that leads, and then so how did you? So let's talk about a little bit now about Aphro-D. How did you actually get onto that? Like, what were you searching for?
On YouTube.
Just on YouTube.
Listening to some free audiobooks, and also, and I saw the commercial one day, and it was like, oh, okay. I see a lot of like positive people talking and good feedback on the product. I was taking for working out a lot of the pre-workout powders, and they have a lot of caffeine and sugar, and and I just I saw Doctor Farhan, right? That's his name.
Yeah.
Talking about his products, natural herbs, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try this out. And ever since I tried it out, it's tremendous. I mean, I feel the energy all day, all night. Libido increased like crazy. And it's a challenge with the whole libido thing because I've been single for a couple of years, my choice, just to be a better version of myself for my next partner. So, but yes, it's a good product. I love it.
It's funny because I think I heard you say something that you'd like to find a way of cooking with it.
Yes.
Yeah. How would you cook it?
Maybe for a sauce or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I'd love to see.
I said beurre blanc. I said beurre blanc. It's like a white wine butter sauce that friends use, as beurre for butter and blanc for wine.
Yeah,
I don't drink anymore, but I cook with wine.
That'd be quite funny. It's like, what is this? And like, no one knows what it is. It's like, oh, it's Aphro-D. The problem is you would have to give it to men though. So mostly
I think
men.
it would go.
Yeah.
It would go well with probably a curry dish or maybe Moroccan. I don't know. It's got that flair in it. There's something in there that I don't know. I like it. I really do.
Yeah, okay. That's interesting to hear. So yeah, just a few final things. Like what would your what kind of message would you give to the experiences that you've had? What message would you give to people in the group and outside of the group that are they're looking for something, not even necessarily just increase their testosterone or libido levels, just to kind of what would you say, like the kind of things that you've learned from yourself, self-development, that you could kind of pass on to other people, and what tips you can give to them, especially if a young person who's maybe in the same situation as you, like what would you say to him or her as well?
I think things happen to us that happen for us, not to us. They happen for us to better ourselves for the future. My advice: stay present in the moment. Don't try your best not to worry about what's going to happen or what will happen, what won't happen, and don't worry about the past, because the past is history. We whatever happened to us in the past, I believe it was meant to be, and for us to be a better version of ourselves for the future. And be present in the moment, live in the moment, plan for the future, but don't worry about the future. Research and self-development to be a better version of yourself, not only for you, but for those around you. And we attract what we are. So if we're going to be in a bad mood and pissy and wanting to be right all the time, we're going to attract the same people. We're going to attract circumstances just the same. So if we try our best to do the opposite, then we're going to attract who we are, honestly. And I've learned that with myself. I'm not perfect, and I don't want to be better than anyone. I just want to be better for me so I can help others. And life is, you have a struggle coming in. I don't call them problems. I like to call them challenges, because, okay, this is a challenge. I'm going to look at it. I'm going to acknowledge it. I know it's there. What can I do to focus on a solution? So, it could be anything to, okay, I'm going to cut less. Like, let's say for addiction, people who won't go to rehab or can't go to rehab, you could just try to practice day at a time, little shifts. Like if you smoke 10 packs of cigarettes a day, cutting it back to 7. You smoke 5 cigarettes a day, try cutting 4 every day, and have a goal mindset that you want to stop whatever bad habits you have. As long as you have it in your thoughts, we create what we think. So you have a thought, I want to stop this bad habit. You're on your journey to stop, but you have to put in your time as well. You have to believe you can do it. If people say you can't do it, it's a waste of time. Those are like the energy vampires, naysayers, and learn from them too, because sometimes there are teachings behind negative people just to make you a better person for you, and again, for others around you.
I just wanted to ask you, what are your goals at the moment? Like, what are you focusing on yourself?
I want to help others as much as I can.
That's your focus. Interesting. Okay.
Mentor people, encourage people, and I think we're putting in this life. And I'm not religious of any kind, but I believe in the universe. I believe there's a God, and but I believe we're here on this planet to love each other, to help each other, because it's easier to to like someone that's likable. The challenge is to like someone that's an asshole, you know, or
Yeah.
you know, non-likable. So I think
Well, actually, I don't think you need to. I don't think everyone needs to love each other. I think disrespect, and you know, disrespect each
right,
other. Yeah,
and
you know.
and I think the challenge is, I think the universe wants us to love each other, like to
Yeah,
help each
yeah,
other, no matter what the circumstances are.
true.
And it's hard. It's not easy, but I think that's lead. I want to lead by example. And then same thing at work. At work is a chaos every day. You know, a lot of hours in the kitchen, different different attitudes, different people, and lead by example. At first, it doesn't look like it's working, but later on, it does work.
Have you got anything in place? So you like volunteer helplines and stuff like that? Are you part of any of that kind of stuff? Charities? Anything
Not
like that?
yet,
Mm.
but whenever I have a chance to give something, I will. And you know, I don't like talking about it a lot because there's
Sure.
a saying, you
Yeah.
know, do something kind without getting caught.
Yeah. Very good.
And
Very good.
there's a blessing behind that as well, because some people like to brag. I did this, I helped this one,
Yeah,
I
you're
did
right.
everything.
You're right.
And but you know, now that you mentioned that, yes, I've actually I haven't watched TV for almost 3 years.
Oh
I just
wow.
stopped watching TV. Don't have cable TV.
Okay.
I watch YouTube, but mostly on personal development, a little bit of the news just to see what's going on with COVID and all
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But I had a Xbox and movies and a bunch of stuff. I used to practice magic. I had all kinds of magic
Oh.
cards and you know gimmicks. And one day I said, you know what? I'm just gonna give it away. Went to the Red Cross. I gave him my TV. I gave him the Xbox. Everything
Was this
that was
recently?
instilled in
These
my
3 years? 3 years ago,
a
you
couple
said?
of years. Yes,
Oh wow.
yes.
Okay.
A lot of things that were draining my time
Mm.
that wasn't good for me. I didn't feel like it was necessary. Watching TV, the same TV shows, or negative, or shooting or killing. I mean, just
Yeah. Very true.
focus on me. Yeah.
All right, okay. So, well, thank you very much for your insight. And as always, if anyone, you know, whoever's watching this, if you have any comments, please comment below. And I'm sure if you want to reach out to Jose, I'm sure he'll be more than happy. You can join us in the Facebook Academy at some point if you want to. But otherwise, yeah, thank you, Jose, for joining me and doing this interview. And yeah, I hope to do another interview in the future with you where we can talk about where you are there and where how far you've gone more in life, you know. So great. Yeah, thanks.
I got one more thing.
Yeah, go
on. The motivation for the evening for success.
Please.
Being relaxed, at peace with yourself, confident, emotionally neutral, loose, and free floating. These are the keys to successful performance in almost everything you do. Boom.
Jose, thank you.